This is going to be a grade 10 performance piece that was part of the ePortfolio unit that the students did. They had to explore the idea of artists changing the world. We looked at a very specific type of theatre which is called verbatim theatre. Verbatim theatre is a style of theatre where they use the words from interviews and people who were affected by an event or by an issue, and they edit that work back into a piece of theatre. Now we're unfortunate to have one of the cast members of this group away ill today, so we've had at the last minute this gentleman in pink learned the whole piece in a day. You'll notice the students with earbuds in their ears. That isn't so that they know their lines, it's part of a technique by a theatre company that they'll no doubt talk about at the end, to recorded delivery, who use the interviews recorded live to ensure that they're maintaining a truthful speech pattern. So it's quite an interesting way of performing. Okay, this piece is called 26 and Counting.
On December 14, 2012, a gunman opened fire in Sandy Hook Elementary School, killing a total of 26 victims, 20 of which were children between the age of 5 to 7 years old. Since then, there have been at least 239 school shootings across America. In those episodes, 438 have been shot, 138 of whom were killed.
How could you, at the age of 5? You wake up every morning, carefree as ever. Your worst fear is a non-existent monster that lives under your bed. It's the same simple routine every weekday. You walk down to the kitchen, eat whatever breakfast mom prepares for you, get strapped into your car seat, say goodbye to mom. She tells you she loves you. I love you. And you say it back.
I love you too.
And then you're off. You run into the big, grand doors, wondering what Miss Boyd will be teaching today. You look for your friends. Your friends. The ones you expect to see every day.
You had one more week of school left before Christmas break. You took a seat on the second row, the seat you sat in every day for class, next to Jessie and behind Dylan. Little did you know that on that brisk December morning, some 20-year-old male sat at the tiny coffee table in his parents' house, twitching with anger, fear. God knows what was going through his mind then. I guess no one will ever know. This unforgivable and unexplainable act of hate was plotting. No one will ever know. You sat staring at the big clock at the front of the class. You just learned how to tell time. Dad was so proud of you. 8:54 a.m. 26 minutes till recess. 26 minutes till you got to run around the playground, the Headless Chicken with your friends. 26 minutes till you got to eat the Oreos Mom packed for you today.
But before you got to any of that, the clock struck 9. And that's when it happened. At first, you thought it was an animal. Then, what you thought was your worst fear. The big three-eyed monster your brother told you about. But then, you realized Miss Roy rushing the class into the tiny cupboard in the classroom. She instructs the class to stay quiet. You feel uncomfortable, cramped in a tiny cupboard with 17 other people. Your friend starts to cry, and the loud pop continues to ring and echo through your sensitive ears. Miss Roy tells us,
There are bad guys out there now. We need to wait for the good guys.
10:17 a.m. Your hands are on Cassie's shoulders. Spencer had hers on yours. Tears continue to brim your eyes, even after you continue to wipe them off furiously. You walk in a single file down the street to the fire station. All you want is your mom and your dad, your brother, Sandy, your puppy. You want to be home. Baking sugar cookies with Auntie Nina, singing Christmas carols with your cousin Tim. You wonder where your friends are. Charlotte, Daniel, Olivia, Josephine, Dylan, Madeline, Catherine, Chase, Jesse, Anna, James, Grace, Emily, Jack, Noah, Allison, Benjamin, Abiel, Jessica, Caroline.
I never thought something like this could ever happen to me. Nothing like this could ever happen to your child. That's like something you read on the cover of People's Magazine. But it never happens to you until you're on the cover of People's Magazine. After Jesse's death, the best thing that was ever said to me was,
There are no words.
Because there really are no words to describe a loss like that. In those moments, I cry. And then I make myself a cup of tea. And I double down on my efforts in choosing love every day.
I know that if the shooter had been able to give and receive nurturing, healing, and love, that the tragedy wouldn't have happened. You can't always choose what happens to you, but you can always choose how to respond. You can always respond with love.
Every once in a while, I'll get an email. One time it said,
You better hope that you're dead before America finds out the wool that you're pulling over their eyes.
or,
Go kill yourself so you can be with your beloved son.
I believe that all tragedies started with a dark thought in someone's head, and an angry thought can be changed. So I ask all of you to start changing one angry thought into a happy one every day. By doing that, we can positively impact yourself, those around you, and through the ripple effect, you will make this a more peaceful and loving world.
A lot of times, we'll bring a bunch of balloons with messages and release them up into the sky. I don't really know what we'll do this year.
Dylan was just pure love. He had these gorgeous blue eyes and he just had the most amazing smile. And this laugh, this giggle that people used to tickle him just to hear him giggle. He had a highly developed sense of awareness and compassion for others. It was evident in just about everything he did, from insisting that everybody was seated at the dinner table before anyone took any food because he thought it was right and fair, to rescuing worms from burning in the sun on the sidewalk by putting them in the grass, to holding doors for strangers or connecting with classmates in school. We just thought it was the most beautiful thing. Everyone was so in love with him. He was an amazing little boy.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. I want you to know that I love you all very much, and it's all going to be okay.
In the days that followed, my body made the choices my mind could not. I couldn't eat. I remember taking a few bites of chicken and feeling like I'd gorge myself. I made a new Gmail account and emailed myself thoughts, which my mind couldn't hold. Even now, when I look through the hundreds of emails I sent myself, I read some as if for the first time. Slowly, my mind and body came back together. Only years later would I fully come to understand how the traumatized brain and body work, or don't work. Gradually, the mind kicks back in, and then decisions and realities come one after another. these subsequent months and years are one of the most difficult. There's teacher training for a wild animal in the school, for a high wind, and now for an active shooter. But there's no training for navigating the aftermath of a shooting.
So attend every funeral for every child, but attend to your own, who was with her 4th grade class that day. Go back to school right away, but don't go back too soon. Describe forgiveness, but don't prescribe forgiveness. Put the sticker on your car, but not that one. Support grief this way, but not that way. Greet victims' families in the grocery store, but please leave them alone. Catalog this book for the school library, but not that one, not that one. Arm teachers, but get guns out of schools. Tear down the old school, but keep a school in Sandy Hook. Slowly, the mind grasps that the dead cannot be brought back. Yet, you can't stop that mind from churning out ways to make it better. And it's all made worse by a country full of opinions.
When I was 9 and 10, I tried to forget it all. People wanted to help me forget, because a loud noise would go off and I'd get so upset that I couldn't breathe or even think. I also struggled to learn, make friends, or trust my own sense of reality. Now, I want to remember, because I'm at the age of action and responsibility. That's somehow part of why I'm here. I just figured, well, of course gun reform is something that everyone can get behind. That everyone should get a background check before they purchase a firearm. And the reality that about 90% of Americans agree is inside the halls of Congress, where the common sense and logic seem to break down.
And even after all these years, you feel it. You're cautious. You don't ever walk alone. Especially at night. You find yourself turning your head at every corner, left and right. You still wake up in a cold sweat from the recurring dreams. You now understand the importance and seriousness of that day. You understand why Mom wouldn't let go of you that night. You understand why your brother suddenly stops teasing you about the monsters under your bed. You understand why Dad always insisted on holding your hand. But still, you feel like you're on a never-ending roller coaster ride. You're sick and tired of the thoughts and prayers because they're not enough. You thought it ended there on December 14th. That horrific nightmare. But it didn't.
Why?
Okay, thank you very much, grade 10, to make that horrible sound. Okay, right, while the grade 12 solo theatre students get themselves ready, if we could right now have a little discussion with our audience about the work that they just saw. Right, 12 stick? You want to get
Yeah.
12? Okay, right, so a very different piece of theatre, much less memory and much more, well, dance, I would say. I'm sure that people have got questions or comments about that work, or anything they'd like to know. There's not space in the programme for notes on this, but if you wish to, there is a blank page if you want to make notes for this group as well, some feedback. Where did this come from? I think Georgina was kind of one of the prominent writers of this piece, if I'm correct.
Well, our unit was topic that we all kind of wanted to share. And at first we played with the idea of racism, and then we thought, make it more specific. So we kind of narrowed it down to school gun violence, and that's how we came up with these.
Does anyone have any questions or comments about the work that we'll see? Yeah, we've got Eddie over here.
Was the entire thing verbatim, or did you guys, was it like combined?
So the beginning was.
Can you
specify-
just explain a bit more about what verbatim is and why this might not be considered verbatim?
Verbatim is basically taking the words of other people and then transferring it into a performance and speaking it directly. Some parts of our play weren't verbatim, so the beginning and the end were written by us. And then the middle, where you kind of saw the perspectives, so the survivor, the teacher, and the parents of the fallen, those were all taken from interviews and articles that we read, so they're direct quotes.
Fantastic.
I don't
Yeah,
have
Lynn.
good things to say too.
Please carry on.
So, yeah, I thought that was actually absolutely brilliant. And congratulations, you guys.
What's it disappointing?
Well, now this is 5 plus.
That was brilliant. I think you guys chose, you guys wrote the beginning and end very well, and I think you chose extremely effective pieces of verbatim theater for the middle part to perform. I really enjoyed how you guys had the choral movement together in the middle as well, and it was so effective. Like from the beginning until the end, you had the plate became the steering wheel, and then you had Cody behind doing the movement, and I thought that was brilliant. It was really moving, and I feel like if I was an American citizen who was affected by these sort of things, I would definitely feel very, I would be crying right now. But, well, yeah, so, for a piece of this level, I think you integrated the narration versus the action very well. I think a lot of people might have difficulties, some people might have difficulties integrating narration with movement along on the stage, but you guys did that excellently, and I really hope that you guys choose theater next year because you all have such great talent.
Yeah. I believe we've got a question from the back there, Dr.
Not so much a question, just a comment on the relevance of the piece. Members of the audience and cast may or may not be aware that Jeremy Richmond, father of one of the victims, took his own life yesterday. It's reported this morning. This is a tragedy that continues to resonate with that community and I think in schools around the world. It's an important way that art can send a powerful message, not just to the United States. I think it's a message that we all need to take note of.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I learned that this afternoon with these guys, and it does make you think. And the whole start of the portfolio for the arts this year was the statement, artists can change the world. And hopefully with this piece of theatre, you've given some small activism to people, but also for yourselves as artists, hopefully it will change you and your perspective on what you can do. One final question?
So I think one of the things that you guys did really great was with something like such a social issue, it's really easy to make it really preachy, and I think that's one thing that you guys did very well not of doing. And I think you guys had a really good balance of kind of storytelling and kind of incorporating the verbatim elements while still managing to get your message across very clearly. But I just have one question. So recorded delivery uses your earbuds and you get to basically hear what is being said, but if you were to do this again, would there have been another path that you would have taken to ensure the authenticity of your performance? So example would be like, and you guys should answer that.
The grade 11s have been studying this and are very upset about the ethics of this form of theatre, so yeah, okay, thank you.
I would say that Okay, so basically, originally we chose to use the AirPods just because we couldn't memorize the scripts.
So we didn't have enough time.
You're not supposed to say that.
But then we realized that,
Yeah, but then at the same time, it was like very distracting when using the AirPods. So we had to like constantly practice it over and over again.
it takes a lot of focus to be listening to the same thing and saying it at the same time. And I think, something that we did use where we quoted some parts up there, and that's, I guess, a way that we also demonstrated the use of verbatim, not only through AirPods, but I think,
No, it kind of relates back to like the notion of verbatim, where we're speaking someone else's stories. So it's reminding the audience, oh, they're having earbuds on. That means they're listening to like someone else's probably extracts from interviews. So then it's reminding us that we're actually just acting as other people instead of like fictional characters, rather than to other types and genres of drama. So.
Thank you.
Well done, guys.
Thank you very much.